My next guest takes on Marvin Vettori coming up here at UFC on Fox 29 on April 14th. It's Israel Adesanya joining me here on the program, live from the car dealership. Israel, how are you?
I'm well, my man. How are you?
I'm doing very well. You're getting your car serviced. What type of car are you driving these days?
It's been an all I have for about a year now. It's a Nissan Pathfinder, so gets the job done. I enjoy it. Goes from A to B, and it's clean.
That's the most important thing. Now, I'm catching you right now at about 11:30 New Zealand time right now, correct?
Yeah, and I just finished training.
Oh, good stuff. Okay.
First one in.
Because you're in the future right now. It's Monday where you are. It's Sunday, 5 o'clock Eastern
Sunday
time.
Right,
go buy a lottery ticket for me, see if we can cash it together.
Yeah.
But
no way. Today's going to be a good day. You know that.
Yeah, absolutely. You've been doing a lot of interviews and well-deserved, obviously, coming off that big win in the UFC. But, I don't know if a lot of people really know your backstory as far as how you got into combat sports. So what was sort of that initial interest when you were younger as far as how you got into combat sports?
I got into combat sports through, Taekwondo as a kid. I started to Taekwondo, and just because it was part of my school, after-school program. And, I got pulled out. My mom pulled me out, though, because I started kicking everything around the house and breaking vases and photo frames. I just said, no more Taekwondo. And then I just kind of danced for years, and dancing was my main thing. I just, it was good for me. I always like to express and move my body. And then eventually I found this movie, Ong Bak, and I think that was the movie that made Muay Thai mainstream to the world. And I was like, man, I want to try this shit. Found a Muay Thai gym in my little town at the time, and then I think 6 weeks later I had my first fight. And that feeling after the fight, I kind of felt I wanted that feeling again over and over. And back in 2005, you wouldn't pay me enough to fight another guy who's trying to kill me. And tables have turned now.
It certainly has, and things have worked out great for you. I know in 2001 you moved to New Zealand. You were born in Nigeria. What was that like as far as the transition of moving to New Zealand and being in a new culture?
Yeah, it was interesting. It was up and down because being a new kid in a country you never even heard of before, and I lived in a town where there wasn't much people with my skin tone, so it was very hard. Like people riding by my house. Throwing out racial slurs, having to defend myself at school. So that was part of the reason I got into martial arts as well, is just to learn how to defend myself. Even as I started training, I think, late 17, just before I turned 18. And even at that age, I had to feel secure that I can handle myself because, I couldn't take more ass whoopings.
Fair enough. And you mentioned the Ong Bak movie. Were there any other influences that sort of made you lean towards combat sports? Because, you got a really good personality. I'm wondering if there's any pro wrestling that you watched growing up at all.
Bro. That was, I think, Sunday nights. We used to, my Attitude Era was my era.
Nice.
Attitude Era was my era. But, now I don't really know much of who the guys are. And mine was just The Rock, Stone Cold Steve Austin, John Cena, Batista, that era, Randy Orton. So maybe, I don't know, I know how they, listening to, who do I listen to now? I listen to Chael Sonnen on the You're Welcome, and I like when he talks about the WWE, because when I was a kid, that shit was real. Like, my sister used to try and tell me, look, he's not really hitting them, but I believed. It was real. It's real, damn it.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, that clip, absolutely.
Yeah. But, so, I don't know. I love the just entertainment factor of it. And, now I know the kind of work they put in because I've listened to guys like Chael Sonnen talk about them going around the world, all year round, instead of, fighting every week and the training they have to go through. It's tough. But, it did have influence in the way I carry myself. Well, people always try to say that WWE is, guys like Conor are taking the WWE blueprint and trying to bring it into the UFC, and I think that's false. And let me tell you why. It's because hyping fights, scheduled fights, has always been part of fighting since day dot. And I use this example of if two kids at lunchtime are going to scrap, maybe a teacher breaks it up, and people are like, after school, I'll see you after school, cunt. Yeah. From that point on till after school, all everyone's talking about is the fight. And even when the kids, run into each other again in the hallway, they're talking shit. They're talking mad shit. And then, what's up, bro? You can say, I'm in an interview. They're talking mad shit. And then by that point, after school comes 3 o'clock, everyone just swarms to the venue, and then the two guys are walking across each other. And it might be a good fight, might be a shit fight, but it's always been part of fighting. And what the WWE did is just hijack that and just saturated it, and they have like a formula they use. But hyping a fight has always been part of fighting. I don't know why people get it twisted and think like people are trying to bring the WWE to the UFC or to MMA. It's the other way around. Don't get it twisted.
Yes. No, I agree with that. What are your thoughts on Ronda Rousey going to the WWE? Because, a lot of people, they're kind of hating on her, but, I think it's a good move for her, just using her brand and trying something different.
100%. You see the work those guys put in, and people are so quick to forget. This is why I don't buy into the whole fandom. I just stick with people who are with me, because people are so quick to forget how great Ronda was, how much of a pioneer she is in the game. I mean, you think about from Dana going, there will never be women in the UFC, to then having her do what she did. And, women's MMA is the level is rising up so fast now. It's rising up so fast to the point where it's like, eventually, the men is rising up as well, but they're rising up faster than the men's MMA did from like 1993. And yeah, the game kind of, I think, not left her behind, but just evolved faster because of her, coaching staff. But going to the WWE, I think it's great. I think, power to her. Enjoy yourself. Fucking get that money. And fuck everybody else. Do you.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Is that something you'd ever consider maybe after your career's over, is dipping into wrestling, or are you just good with kickboxing and MMA?
Yeah, now I'm just going to finish my career in the UFC, I think. But I'll dabble. I'll see.
Yeah.
Depends how big the check is. That's all it's about, I guess.
Yes.
But, I'm interested. I'm open.
And I mentioned, the kickboxing background that you have. You fought in Glory. Obviously, that's where a lot of people probably remember you from before you were in the UFC. Is the door sort of closed on kickboxing at this point, and is the focus just on MMA?
Yeah, 100%. That's always been the goal. My goal since I started this shit was being the UFC, and kickboxing just took me in a different route because I'm great at striking. And I could have chose to stay and just be the greatest kickboxer or greatest boxer of all time. But I just felt I never want to feel vulnerable. I never want to feel like, this guy could have me on any given day. Because guys like Mayweather who's saying, I want to go to the UFC. Yeah, it's cool. But I mean, I have guys in my gym that can whoop his ass without even throwing a single punch. And I just don't want that feeling of feeling like I'm unprepared. So that's why I chose the MMA route. And I like the discipline. I love the work, everything about this game. And it's just constantly learning. There's so much to learn, And yeah, I just don't want to take the easy route. So I'm going with the UFC.
And it certainly worked out well for you. Great debut, UFC 221. And I know you've been doing the rounds, like I said, off the top, as far as interviews and stuff. Did you expect this much feedback after that win, when you won at UFC 221?
Yeah, definitely. And you wait till the next fight in New Jersey. I know they're already trying to put me on the countdown show, like the Road to the Octagon.
Oh, great.
They're going to do some film for that. And I thought I was the first card. I thought I was the first fight on the card. But apparently I am I'm third to last, I think. So just before the co-main event. So I know they're giving me a big push because everyone else has seen what I've seen about myself for years and what I've known about myself for years. And I've always been that guy, I've always been able to just do my thing. But yeah, I know they want to work with me, and I know they want to put me on a pedestal like they did with Ronda, with McGregor, what they did with Sean O'Malley. So yeah, I've expected all this, so I'm just riding with it.
Yeah, no, you certainly are. I know on the MMA Hour you wanted to fight an Ultimate Fighter winner. You got Marvin Vettori instead. Is this the type of matchup that you get excited for?
Yeah, funny story though. I don't know. So my first fight with Rob Wilkinson, I had a feeling I was going to fight him because he had the AFC belt. He was talking shit when he came to the UFC. He was talking shit about, these boys are fighting for my old toys. And after he lost his fight, I just felt like, you know what, I'd be a good fight for him, and he'd be a good entry fight for me. So I knew I was going to fight him. Then at UFC 219, I was walking through the MGM with my squad, and then what's his name? Marvin was walking through as well, I think for the after party, and I watched this fight. So I kind of just nodded at him, like acknowledged him. That's what's on. He gave me this weird look. I didn't like his energy. and he just walked past me real weird. And I looked at Eugene, and I was like, Eugene, I want to fight him. And Eugene, my coach kind of just like, right. And then when the option came, and they gave us the choices, I just pointed at him. I was like, that guy. And I think it came out of two guys. One was, I can't remember his name, but he's quite an older guy. So I just didn't want it to look like, I'm just picking off easy fights. I'm taking the guys that they present to me, and I'm picking the toughest ones. He had a good fight. Came to a draw because he fought a tough guy as well. But stylistically, you look at him, he's southpaw. Ooh. He's flat-footed. He comes forward, he gets hit a lot. So I don't get hit, and I like to hit a lot. I'm accurate. My last fight, I think it was something like 80% striking accuracy. So I'm not one of these guys that throw in hope. I aim and fire, and I'll put the crosshairs on his head.
And as far as training camp, who are some of the main people you're going to be working with helping you get ready for this fight?
Dan Hooker, we did we're not the VO2 Max. We did our workout yesterday, one of our hardest one of the week. He messed me up pretty good because it was me, him. He did his as well because he's fighting the weekend after me in New Jersey. So we're in the same camp. We're kind of like rolling together. Carlos Alberg. I've got John Vake, Brad Riddell, who just won at Power Play in Melbourne against, what's his name? He won against Mercer Gronhaus brother, Fernando Flash. He just smoked them 5-0. Just clean sweep. Who else? I've got BJ Bland. Got Dalton, this big freak of a guy, jiu-jitsu wizard, but no one knows about yet. But a whole plethora of guys, man. Like us, people, just because we're in the little corner of the world, or little part of the world is New Zealand, no one really knows what we're about, but you'll soon find out.
Awesome. And when does that weight cut process start for you? We're a couple weeks out from the fight, obviously, so you got plenty of time. Well, more than a month, I should say. So when does that sort of start?
Well, right now, I'm about my third trimester. Take it back till I have my abs again. Well, I got abs right now, but I don't get fat. I didn't get unfit after this fight. I just stayed in shape. I had my fun for about a week, and then I'm back in the gym. I've been back in the gym. I was fit, so I just have to take it up another notch. And the weight cut will start probably a week and a half out, 2 weeks out.
Okay.
I start to water load and all that shit. But even me, you saw my last fight, I had 3 pounds to spare. I was going to lend Romel, or what's his name, Yoel Romero, some 3, because he missed weight by 3 pounds. And if I could have, I would have lent him the pounds. But unfortunately, that's his problem, not mine.
No, absolutely. How do you see this fight playing out on April 14th? Vettori's a tough guy to finish. Are we going to see a finish in this fight?
Yeah, definitely. Oh, guaranteed. It's just maths. You look at it. He's flat-footed. He comes forward. When you hit him clean, he likes to smile and beckon you on, and I'm happily obliged. He's tough. He's got a big blockhead, so I know he can take a lot of shots, but I'm not just going for the head. I'm going for everything. The head, the body, the legs. If I can, I'll hit him in the butt. I don't know, whatever. Everything. Everything's fair game. So I just know when I hit them too much, when I keep touching them and keep stabbing them, they can't take it. And you see it in the last fight. It's like a surgeon with a scalpel, just constantly till they fall.
Last question for you here, and again, I really appreciate the time, especially during your errands today. What do you like doing on your downtime? I know you're a busy guy. Obviously, you like training and everything else, but how do you sort of decompress and take your mind off things?
Me, I just chill, hang out with my friends, my dog, and yeah, right now, even after all the hoopla after my last fight, I just kind of have to. It's like getting a Lamborghini. Like, I always want to get a Lamborghini, and they're fast, but then when you finally get one, you put your foot on the pedal, and you're like, whoa, okay, that's a different speed than I was used to. You have to just kind of adjust to the car real quick to get adjusted to that speed. That's what I'm doing right now in my life. Like, I expected all this shit. I've expected all this shit from the jump. So now that I'm here, it's like, oh, shit, okay, I'm here now. And the gas is very gassy. I don't know if that's a thing. Like, it's very sensitive when you put your foot on the gas. So I'm just getting adjusted to the speed. I'm doing well. I'm coping with all this shit. People say, I'm telling you, people can't. I see what McGregor meant now when he talked about, doing media from like 4 a.m. to 6 p.m., while still training on fight week or whatever and cutting weight. He said not a lot of people, they fold when they're under that kind of light, that kind of shine, that kind of pressure. But yeah, some people aren't creative. They're not made for it. That's why they fold. And me, we made myself for this. I made myself for this, you know. So yeah, I'm just enjoying my day, you know, one day at a time, one moment at a time. I don't wanna rush things. I keep the same energy.
Okay, that's good. What about any TV, any Netflix, any video games? You doing any of that at all in between training?
Right now, I'm playing Guardian. Oh no, The Last Guardian on PS4.
Oh,
I am
nice.
watching Arjun on Netflix. I like to watch Adventure or The Amazing World of Gumball. What else? Naruto or Boruto. I'm watching Boruto. Just, yeah, I'm pretty chill. Like I like, you know, when you give a lot of energy to all this shit, you know, by the time I'm done, I just have to like pull back and relax and just get in my own space, get in my own zone.
Excellent. Well, we're certainly looking forward to this fight. It's UFC on Fox 29 coming up here April 14th. Israel, I really appreciate you taking the time, man. Just remind people where they can find you on social media, and if you got any sponsors or shout outs, the floor is yours, man.
Yeah, you know, shout out to my main guy, Engage, Fightwear, Ashton Engage, been looking after me for a long time, you know. Stain Skins, the guys that ink me up. Rod Dawson, he's my man. Takes me hunting as well, so I'm due for another one of those with some fresh meat. And yeah, social media, Facebook.com/The Last Stylebender, and Twitter and Instagram, Stylebender, @Stylebender.